Part 2. She smiled and leaned forward. This is how you tell, okay? Karen women are smaller than Aquan women. Karen men are larger than Aquan men. She leaned back. Karens have a less volatile temperament, depending on the queen, of course. Carla shook her head. I noticed she was bigger. She wasn't taller, but had broader shoulders and looked more muscular. Karens are crazier, and Aquans are meaner, she said. Everyone nodded in agreement and laughed a bit. You're an Aquan, I asked. Of course. Look at the way I dress. All black with a color stripe designating the area. Look at Bev. Tight, shiny uniforms. And look at Diana, the Karen ambassador. Indecent, isn't she? Diana smiled and gave me a wink when I looked at her. Soon to be king likes it. I can tell by the way he looks away real fast. She looked at me. Don't you like what you see? I think you've had too much, Bev interrupted. This is Kara's fiance. Diana was silent for a moment. I think you're right. I'm very sorry, Rob. I really should so due respect. I'm sorry. If you're really sorry, get me another beer, I said. She flagged the next waiter and I ordered another round. She sat there drinking and discussing Kera and Aqua as we talked. I discovered that we were actually back on Aqua in the Northern Kingdom. Instead of rain, there was tons of snow. That was why it was so quiet. We were taken far north into a large base in order to be kept safe. Apparently, many Aquans and Karens were outraged to the point of violence. Not only had we killed the royal family of the Blue Area, one of the leading families on the planet Aqua, we had also destroyed the trade ship that they had been waiting for more than a year. Many of the Karens and Aquans had perished in the iciness of space. I was sorry to know that. If I had just been able to get away without destroying them, I would have. Now, I had the death of hundreds of people in my hands, maybe even the thousands. Did I have the right to kill so many to survive? I got more and more despondent as I drank and heard about the other planets. I hoped that I would find something better out here. According to them, much of the galaxy was the same. There was no paradise, just some areas on some planets that were a little better than others. I asked them about our ship. Carla sat back and laughed. Those are really old ships. They're warships. They were banned a long time ago because of the effects that they had on users' minds. There would be a telepathic link between the crew and the ship. The ship would enhance the violent nature of the member, and the members would make the ship more efficient at destroying. It also opened the users up to telepathic contact from other people, not only the ship. How do you think you can understand what's being said, or we can understand you? You're speaking our language very well, I might say. It reprogrammed you, but you didn't even notice. She laughed a bit and leaned back. A lot of us have been affected by those old ships, especially the Aquans. That's why they're so crazy, and that's why we are so mean. I smiled but was very tired. I could tell that everyone was winding down. I had a little too much to drink. I guess I better call it a night. I stood up and leaned on the table. I had a bit of too much to drink, I think. I looked around the table and genuinely smiled. I wish we could have met under better circumstances. I'm very sorry. I am too, Bev said. But maybe we can make the best of it. All the women stood. I gave them a nod and began to make my way back to the back room, moving through the round tables, tweeting through crowds of men and women when suddenly the crowd split. I found myself standing in the center of several tables all alone. 3 men stood there in front of me. I looked back toward Diana. She wasn't there. The whole table had been cleared. I continued to walk towards the 3 men, barring my way to the back room. Had the talk and laughter been mockery? Was I being set up? The very idea made me angry. The man in the middle stepped forward with his hands on his hips. Bev was right. The Karen men were a bit larger than the Aquan men. He was 5'9" but muscular. Looked like he had been working out. He had brown curly hair, and his face was clean shaven. He smiled. One of his teeth was broken. "Excuse me," I said. "You're in the way. I'm trying to go to bed." "You're going to sleep, but you're not going to any bed yet." I looked at him and the other two men. I looked around the room. Everyone was looking, but no one was moving. The stop wasn't about to happen. "I'm going to bed. After I get in bed, I will go to sleep. And I will have a peaceful sleep, because you're going to get out of my way, or I will put my foot where it hurts." I continued to walk towards him. He took a step forward. At the same time, just when he was slightly off balance between steps, I fired a hard thrusting kick into his solar plexus that sent him crashing into the other two men. He was out cold. I continued to walk forward. One of the other men rushed towards me and shot a right hook toward my head. I slipped underneath it. He followed with a quick jab. I sidestepped, brought my foot around, swept his foot from under him. As he fell forward, I did a spinning axe kick and slammed the heel of my foot into the back of his head before he hit the floor. From the corner of the eye, I could see a chair coming at my head. I pivoted on my heel, stepped toward the chair. I grabbed it and pivoted at the last second, using the energy of the swing and leading the attacker in a large circle that sent him flying onto the floor. I tossed the chair into the face of a would-be assailant who had been blocking my path as he charged toward me. Did a stepping side kick as he stumbled back and lost him across the room onto several tables. Then the room went crazy. Men and women alike charged toward me. Tai Chi, boxing, all of that stuff really worked. Before long, I was joined by John and George, who found anything they could, picked it up, and came cutting through the crowd. People were being knocked out. John was doing Aikido, snapping people's wrists and breaking bones. George was pounding people in the ribs, snapping people's shoulders out from the sockets. We were winning, but I was quickly getting tired. I looked for some avenue of escape when I saw Diana come rushing with more than 20 large women. My heart sank. I knew that we were done for. To my surprise, they fought their way through the crowd and whisked us out safely. We left through a small rear door. It was cold. There was snow and ice everywhere. I could see the larger equipment there, moving snow, piling it as high as buildings. We were whisked into a hovercraft. Diana and Bev joined us as we sped toward the gate. I breathed a sigh as John and George just about collapsed into each other for relief. Diana threw her arms around me, attempting to comfort me. I guess that is what one would do to a man on this planet who was supposed to be hysterical. I held on tight. I must have been hysterical. This getting comforted thing was starting to feel good. I didn't want it to become a habit. She patted me on the shoulder. "Don't worry, you're safe now. We have to get you to Kera." She looked at me. "A lot of people are very upset. Some leftover mercenaries from Blue Area and relatives of the Karens are on that ship." She looked into my eyes and spoke more slowly. "We'll take you to Kera, where you'll be safe, okay?" Her concerned look changed into a sunny grin. "I was afraid you had betrayed us, Diana." I hugged her tight again. "Thank you." She pulled away and looked at me. "Don't thank me yet." I waited. "I would have betrayed you if you hadn't been there, and if it hadn't been for our discussions tonight. I knew that I was wrong, and I knew what was going to happen, and I decided to do what was necessary at the last minute. It was only because I got to know you." She closed her eyes for a moment before speaking and took a deep breath. "I'm sorry." My mother was on that ship, my mother and father. I'm sorry, I never wanted to kill anyone, I swear. I became despondent. I even had more innocent blood on my hands. There were so many circumstances in life that brought people who could have been close friends face to face in battle. Then someone would die. I wondered if there were hope for the human family. Perhaps the problem was what the human being prized most, his or her intelligence. It seemed to be an anomaly that other species really didn't need to survive. It served as a tool for many human beings. It served as a tool that allowed a person to separate the head from the heart so they could commit all kinds of atrocities without remorse. I pursed my lips and sat there for a moment before I looked up. I'm glad you changed your mind. It gives me a little more faith in people than I've had in a long time. Thank you for being willing to take the chance. She smiled broadly. What's faith have to do with anything? I told you the Karens are beautiful. Somehow, I didn't believe that explanation. And this is the reading of the second part of chapter 33. Thanks for visiting us. Join us for the next readings. Go to our website. You'll find the link below where you can find our 24-hour radio station and you can tune in to some of our live talks. You'll see that on the website. You can also help donate to us by going to our donations and support page. It's always good to be with you on YouTube, and we look forward to continuing. Thank you once again.